Ubwansu bw'omuguzi. Shumalikira bono sharagira ISATO chiabono botukonge kene ukwarigania SMS ya AMAYIA anamono asomo hingi manyaro kumanyigati yali abereka okolekana boigo ali to abereto kumulekera asema byali ngentambe aseri tukeli gato abereto kumulekera namono kobwati ya soime igoro yo wakwisiko kwaye omukonyi wo more Vincent gadiga shagwa nyina bono niga wabunga batorebe kalebyo maga yo mo bunge oli kurwase bunge ya kibwesi abeteka go ikimusado yase bunge rikonyara kumulekera gati ya momocha abete kumbwatira ni gadiga shagwa gati yali banyara bakumulekera ngamono butume kyo bebwa bisi yaye amanyanda mange ayubona anyara kumulekera aseri tukuliya n'ababunge ni gobono gashagwa aikase bunge aseri tukuliya CHINSA 10 mu kibono margoba asebono anyara gukwanira na kwegerera bose bwe bunge bunge boy goni yacinga cyaye ko motegerera gashagwa ase CHINSA ibere chingima kerashagwa anyara gukwana mange igoro yo bokorri bwaje go cyasaba Kenya na bigo na bwamate bwaje amo nomore wense William Samuel Ruto maiga yonsi ni gobono ni ababunge bari cinga cyaye ko nyara gukwana nganejo Waromo nebo babunge ni warokana gotuguterare enkwana yaye omokonyu muri Wense gadiga shagwa anema igoro yo kwegirira bose be bunge litukeri muryoka maiga yo mokonyu muri Wense gadiga shagwa bwigorom okwana n'abakenya gweterase CTV chia anamono akuru aiga sense ya Kenya onyerabuna nigo obono babunge 1253 yo mutu 181 bakekura kone aso kumurusyo bisi omokonyu muri Wense gadiga shagwa akarokali babunge emirongene na bane gose 44 wanyara gwaka chikura asoko ganya gashagwa atigara sabokari wayibuno mokonyu muri Wense kure ya moyoka nereta kwa abasomo bungo ya matake kura aseri tukuliya rumonchu muri kumulekera asobwenge gatiyanda manga yibona bali kwito bako yaliganya aseri tukuliya lero obono nigo omonogede bwe bunge Speaker of the Assembly agochikali huko gochia ase bunge ya Senate na kumanyomo no galibwe Senate buna bunge National Assembly ya itirio ko mwaka isiko gadiga shagwa ikigeti karita bono nensemo ya Senate ena kira chiko korogose nenyare konyara ko mutoli gashagwa otakoze kugura sabo karibwaje Senate ke wetia igobono nige rabe okona cha okonene agochia bono asabange obono bakachikura sobunge konya kumuruziko na sensemo ye bunge bono nigo ya mwakiriska sensemo yaye na goetia ogwa kwisiko impeachment kwaye rigade gashagwa ayobona ndamanga ndoto bwatu gotera assembly mtenda assembly ya Facebook Ndizi TV News digital assembly ya YouTube Ndizi TV News tobasoko bagoto bwatu gotera website unabutambe www.ndizitv.net onyara konyara jomo ndamanga ya century yobo ikino toko bwatera nero gotera sumu no bwimanyiriya gakuru kwa LYDIA MOSE kari sara mumanyi akoneka buna chibi chamuli cha wikere ha century yobo ikino ndamanga na ya century yuko ya chuta.
Then on TV you tell us that in the will my brother gave me and then he gave my wife, then he gave my sons. What about his children? What about his widows? What about his sons? What about, how proudly can you say that you are only enjoying the property of your brother? For that reason alone, Honorable Speaker, we say Gachagua must go.
Naseki kwale kweli kireni wa ya mumurumi no yore nyagosira na kunyebeka gocha samalieta una kukubuli kurasa babunge gocha serigadi Gachagua.
I would like in my own statement to ask the Deputy President, take the honorable route that some of your predecessors had taken, like Jaramogi, and step down from this position.
Omugwimen repwe county ya Kisumu Ruth Odinga nikaganir gadiga Gachagua gwetigia emeremo.
The Deputy President may have said that he is a shareholder and there are issues about his community, but if you look at the appointments that are being made in Kenya, then you will realize that the person of the president himself is the one who is the biggest tribalist, Mr. Speaker.
Tigana na Rigathi Gachagua mweri bagasobo koribwaje kuri ndomora ibwensi gabonete komuchigwane monasoko nyakorika banta bange kurwa segesa kukiaye.
Asa jomo nanda mange saranso ikabono tumenya century yobo ikirano ISATO cyabono botukoli tukaligali ya Jumanne stariki ko isana ISATO mutinyo 10 mwaka w'ikiri bubere na 2024 leterane chinkurukwa VINCENT ONYANCHA Utoko chake mesema ngana AMAYIA kurasege county ya Kisii tumekumulekera ayo agendresa se bunge kuchaka korega se county ya Kisii ni gobana seritukuli ya lero ekigambiro gya Kisii lokota kyaba kegotegerera ane mono keroli abono babete abakora igoro yengana yarengete abakagerwa bane babete bagosambo CHINSA mu kiri cyamarani aso mwaka w'ikiri bubere na 2024 noyomo abakaguru bana abo ni go bakagerito ko babaroge na maga yayo kunyara gosambo asense million kolengana na keroli tukuli ya romba ikase ekigambiro gya Kisii lokota eriko nyara obusaiti bwabo boigoni ngani yiragendera litukoli yankyo noina bokolengana nensemo yo monecheki nani gobate abuna litukoli yankyo magayo gotegerera nsemo ya kabere mbachikurwa lituko okona chokora chokolekana igoro yekinekyo ekerobono abangina wane babete bagosambwa omwaka w'ikiri bubere na 2024 noyomo umuliketo dipona sanya nekerana sekigambiro gya Kisii lokots na gotwargendera bote rokubwatia.
So the order will be extracted. Tuonane kesho 11.
Ase lituko lya kabere imeje kigambere kenene gya Kisii ababete keroli ko bwatekana no gusambwa kwa bangina bane ko CHINSA mu cyamarani mwaka w'ikiri 2024 nigo baikirana se kigambero bakorawa no mulingo lya bwemibere lea obosi.
They did not have international bands. So they had bands which contributed to their death, which caused their death, but what they lacked was the international bands. So
ebyombe aho byokurwanirira obwene bwa monyabantu nigo baba goikirana elio banyare kurwanirira obwene bwabwe babeta bagusiria amagimabo.
Era magana toretira se itongo lyituga igagetembe use abangi matubne koti na mangana y'abamintu barenga bagotu basambetwe asekinyuru gitu kyamalan na ratoreta rera se ekegambiro twacha gutegerera
ebyombe aho ebibikorwanirira obwene bwa monyabantu nigo baba goikirana asekegambiro elio banyare ko babakurwanirira obwene bwabo.
Na pia tungependa pia kuhamasisha jamii yetu kwamba mambo haya hayastahili hata kuendelea katika jamii zetu. Tuwaheshimu kila mwanadamu na hasa wakongwe wetu, tusije tukawadhulumu.
Tunawasihi vijana wetu ambao mnatenda haya maneno mkome kabisa. Mjue mtu hana haki ya kuishi.
Wakongwe watunzwe, wakongwe waheshimiwe.
Omentanayo nigo bono barire kegoria geke anena sokoira lichiko asamago kabo na boigo kuboria bikorabune bigago kiana kurwa asebinyoro.
Abanta kero bakogota taliye bako baborogi ekero omuntu akogota taliyo lyako bomorogi otware gokonde mulinga nelinga mamumine kera akogota taliya agonjo ko bomorogi otware gokonde mulinga nelinga mbube asengenjo muntu taiyo oganeirie aitwe ngano morogi yali otware gosaba abantu baira nasi kikanisa bamusasi menya sae
nonyana bo kurwa se chinkuma cyabangina baigakoba abarogi nigo bona abantu baburiwe ko bana maskani anene gusikaba gotu ekiagera obogotu na masesenia.
Tunahitaji kufundisha watu wetu ya kwamba utoto huko na una ukomavu huko. Sisi kitu tunahitaji ni sheria. Hata kama hadi jani mbeleni hapo walikuwa kuna watu wanaitwa wachawi. Na hata hakuna watu wote wazuri hata inchi vile Mungu aliumba. Lakini awastahili kuuawa.
Aba bwatani bebyombe bigani go bana bagenda tokoko kerege tambukiro giekegambiro asebono bari no gosemeria kwa baiga gukikonyora obwene bwabo.
Na ira niringa mbye sebigambiro gito asama mangana twarorire agende tokorekana soburunge aso okubeka mangana burunge. Igo nare gosaba abamintu asemure enyoro muntu okorira mamo chandonzi etureti nero ekegambero nkero nakia kogera batureti baro na baruti egere amangana ya agambwe asoburonge na asobwikiranu
nigo yabete obusuko bonene gucia segesa ku kyo mugusi ingana bono yabairira barabwe kugikirenganije igabororo.
Kitendo cha mauaji haya tunalaani kama Wakisii. Sisi ni Wakisii wote, hatutaki tuone mambo ya kifo na mambo ya kuuawa ovyo ovyo. Hiyo tunakata.
Ginko ripoteri gataseni kia onambe ya mokia Ndizi TV kurwa seke gambere kenene ya Kisii. Elitera nenkoro kwa Dipon. Asanya.
Mbiamono umurikito Dipo na Sanya sorobotirwa senchere yobo ikirano gotigana yobono moncho murigereria kubwatikana no kwemurungania ne mono korwa sabalimi abanga kuru chinsemo ase bonus yo mwako yegani gati yabane banyarre kuboli yakone kibona chinsemo chiricyanyare bonus aseri goririanse gonya chire kumurikirwa na kumanyike rete bakanya chi bonus aseri goririanse nego chinga kie chibono munyakiro ubeke gwanda kaligi ya kabiri go Nelson Yonduko anyara kuboli yabalimi kone kibuna nkonyara bali gosegetana na kone kibuna ngonyara bali kote chaya senchere takere kunyara gokinya liga saria bo na bali mikuru sensemeyo ya kabirigo bono tokumanyirwa no muri kito kurase county ya Nyamira Paul Kapa okara
chingaki abari mikuru ase bigwanda aho bagendrete kuganyirira kulia bonus bari mikuru ase kegwandeki kamanyakante buna kibirigo nigo bagendrete gosemigwa anene kubwatikanamo enchira chi factory chi kwenyorera chibesa ejo chikoba gokero mwaka ejo chimanyakante buna bonus
mumanyira ki ebyafara bintu byeka ebyafara business egento kende kia pero ni maiga sei taxi siasa umuntu siasa tana gosora ne factory na aro nkigero ko tanya ko share ya yo gokonye chai
kurengana muno munyakero ko munene bwa director kurwa seke gwandike gasireta Nelson Onduko nigo abahasangereya bali mikuru ase chitundubali abo agendere ko bagago semya iguru na kieke miliki agie chane na kurase factory yiga kigendete ko kuri ase obonya bwaye
echa na reka meliyo katutigaretia ase to Gusii gaiga ekagwa teriko gwe kana buya iga mauga na asirete igo to anza koreta na ende sagasaga ase kemerigi ito gyoka tobwate kega to payslip ekare biasara bitarie biya mono echa liga sandia mente kana nyasaye na tokonya ligo lirikaira nanzi aitaria magoza ya director guse management ebine biasara muno mwako yorenge unechaye oboni bwarenge
musangirikano yiga unyara ko bagokorekana seke gwandikega uyurigeti korora nene asebiria byagendere ko babiko genda burega kubwatekana buna nigo ekegwandikiga kyanyara ko bagekoriera bonus nse igendukirira igatia bale mibande kunyara ko baba kugira gotore chae na koyereta se factory yiga
kamati mwensi bali mone mwe kitundu bali machorire mole batano onde bwensi ogosieke tundu bali chinguru tobwata ase factory cyoko ba suspend igo murende sana abantu basoerororo abantu bali twagenda chikuru no mwaka bwe chikuru renge tokababwa chikura naende bakaira na maega gotosegesa kobeka liberera asaba limi ngabagome batige kolete chae n'abana siasa wanzira aba MCA abachumbe paka chigabana chirori chiabo nchiroro chiri spell mangana chae taria yabo bagotena matanga basogotenga chibesa ni chinga twakanete tigaba kore gendo gekorukuga bataroseri chipara ina ere mandate yabo bao basaiti anyene senator eo basaiti gabana ne aba MCA bakorera abana inchegas kiagara abana inchi nabwo abaremi baito ntugo tokobarwanirira
kurindi gati abaremi abega ikirege nigo banyalde ko bakwenyorera amegeri ayiga ase balire na goteba gwika bakunyara ko bago basemya abaremi bande na kubagania gotiga kurutira aba director chimeme na kurende kemeriki abo giechae
alia jibayingi senda jeito ndo chiko chandana ne jigarani ndo chandana ne factory tigatoibwa na bantu twensi
enda motor chicha cheno chira si factory egera tonyore quality ngia na intu mwako yonde torigerere timotwe twakanwe chibasa chire chingia igona bana ale batebanga imotegerera bana siasa ko bara abanyabulimo batungainire kurubura ibo kurugoro igoro pako bugase batutigire obolimi ntura abantu twechogete
nyorringe quality togotora igerembe tobwene togotora ichae iga enchirengia naende tonyare kotora ichae ruboronge nade na chomire ngente kamonge director teri kobwata besa chinde chonse se factory chibese chikorwa kurwese body goro chacha gonto na goite factory nga umudirector nkoibari ngokorariga aya na mangana atatokonya
nonyina bo ondusonera nigagendera kwa bagakuburia bali mikone kibunango torabale chana kojereta seke gwande kiga ilio kwenekia ligo lirigi ya gentokerere liga salia bako eneki gwa kukina na boigo ebona sijiga gukina
tundubali chetu kyonsi na nendo bwata rich meetings ntobatoko genda ororo tweresa abalimi batuburia maswali na nendo bwate umukutano yomo bo mwaka okuruko annual general meeting azito kweresa aba accountant nabo bali external auditor nabo bali aba manager nabo bali the chairman na ere n'aba director nabo bali kama ni secretary na ere liswali rinde lyonsi likoborwa lyanyara kwiranirwa abo naho tugukwana iguru ye biasara byaito aso mwaka omugima
kuripoteri getaseni kya uwanjete kya Ndizi TV kurugiga igase tinsemechiga chebunga ya West Muguranga seke gwandeke ya kibirigo inche konkuru kwa Polycarp Okara
Bienveno omuliketo Polycarp Okara sorobochurwa senchira jovo ikirano gotigana yibono mwancho muligiria abose bo chigo chengera ali tuko ase bintu bitetana limanya katabu na mazingira daire bono liko nyara gochengero astariki 10 cyumutinyo komikiro mwaka igobono omwaziri wejisemi migose abaka koleta rego cha asensemeria ya migore anemono ase skuri ryo bundi ya Sierra Technical Training Institute ase tukulia lero asanyara kurotota omurobulyo bogo simekemete ase ensemejo omuliketo mirudde mumanyi na mange
Kubwatekana no gochika kwa murai wense Dr. William Ruto ense ya Kenya gochagosimeka imetichi bilioni 15 goika omwaka wechiribu iweren na merongo 53 wanonigo omwaziri wechisemi Julius Ogamba ara abatenelikorwa ase sekta yichisemi ase skuru yobobundi ya Siala ime ya Rongo county ya Migori ase basimeka wetania emete chiribu ISATO wakwana ase skuru yonigo omwaziri atebire nerebya sekta yichisemi gosira umorobelyo yo ilio konya gukanya omuchando bogo chencha kwelire gose climate change.
The county had a target or has a target of growing 4.5 million trees, and so far as you've heard, you managed to do 1.5 million for this year, which is commendable. I think with a bit more effort, you might be able to even surpass that target. There is no harm in surpassing the target that has been given to you. This is especially because this region actually boasts a survival rate of 95% of the seedlings that are planted. In other words, it's not just the planting that is important, but we must make sure that the trees we planted are monitored to ensure that they do not die.
Nigo akwanira igoro ye sekta yichisemi asatebire na cheko eneke ya rongianire anene mono ase amangana ya university funding model na boigo ase omorobelyo OCBC.
Funding model was started last year. It was the implementation of it started last year 2023. So this particular order is not clear what it is stopping. So we've given instructions to allow us to go back to court for an interpretation of that order and for a stay of it, because it's not clear what is being stopped. You can't stop that which has already started. So it's not clear to what extent we are required to obey it or what we are supposed to do. So the lawyers have gone back to court for an interpretation, and we hope it will be cleared. We are not going back to the old one because this one is already ongoing. It's already done.
Boigo nigo ainekiabuna nigo emerobelyo emetingu ya bekirwe iyo eracheko ainekia oboibi wa matemu amanene mboligo chia kobao.
The security that we put in the exams this year is high-tech, as you've heard, and the training is ongoing, so that we can reduce malpractices. And I said on Friday, and I'll say it again, if you are engaged or you are caught in any exam malpractice, this time the law will take its natural course and you will be seriously penalized.
Bono nigo omwaziri ainekiri emerobelyo eliokweneke abuna amatemu yo mwako yo igana chigwikirana kewekiranu ase oboibibonde bwensi botaligo chikoba korokana asara chikobaga kwenekia nga amatemu ayo nekiranigwe ase abana bonsi wase abaorokigwa bonsi imeyense ya Kenya. Mripoti ya Egetaseni kya Ndizi TV korwa county ya Migori eletaliane Mildred Momanyi.
Na gotigana yono mwancho muri mwe no muri kitomirire mumanyi kurwase county yo ya Migori na obasemi bono bwaruro chia sechinka ako ne kibuna nkonyara wale kole ndaba na abanyaroka ne mono bali bakonyara kunregwa somoro bumanyakanta buna gender based violence kolengana nebyo be aho nigo byasemuko ne kibuna ngo bayigarra bare abana abanyaroka yaniganyara gukwaneka sewodelia yabo gyakumo asomojigo yakandi tukolera buno tokumanyigwa no murekedo Josephat amise
omutinyi oikomikira omwaka nigo babwatani abakonyara ko bagwesoke na kwena na obosemia igure chinchira abamenyi bananyara ko bagwetanga amono bureire bwa kansa yorobere asiri tukolera rero imeye constituency ya Bonchari nigo bono omo director Bomas of Kenya Purity Kirera anyara ko bagakwaligania umurobeleyo asaba menyi banyara ko bakwenyorera amaigerio igure chinchira banyara ko bagwetanga no bureiro bwo
gotwarengega igarero tugokwanira mangana breast cancer na gender based violence mumaite omo mutienyo yo igano yo breast cancer awareness so twachite bana abanchari tokwanira mangana breast cancer erindekero montamanye asago kuna sakomanya ngoborwairo oboiga ngambororo na inde obumanyi kero bwaberere bube baminyukanye gitari.
We know that cancer has become rampant and also it has gone undetected because people are not able to visit facilities to get tested.
So genda gakirigererigu nande kero kwanyorira obobembororo rwarigu immediately onyore kobo kat bwango amangana atarachi kogenda mono
omurobiri inigo nyara ko bogoikiranirwa amona babotani hagati yabo Daktari Magdalene Gesare wenyari ko bakwenekia buno kunengiwa ogukururwa nabo igo chisegi chigenga ngati ya makongo abamenyi be county ya Kisii bagende tuko bagwetera
amangana violence yabukire kinyomba cyaito na inde twabere tuko yakwanira kirengaki rero twachicyagaiga gukwana nabangi nabekinyoreke kiabo nchari egere bamanye nga violence yeteringia abana banyaruka uko babare defiled na inde violence nero rasemechi abantu nguitana bari nasio wanawake peke yake wanachapwa nonya basacha igo amangana violence mbiyaere egere bune society togendere na magendere ali ako build rather than break our families
kero kwarorire nga chisegi chia chakire take action genda somugambi
nyina boni go bamenyi be county ya Kisii banyara ko bakuburi go banyara ko bakubato mustari mutwe ryo gosomia abana abaiseke nabo igo kubasemya chinchira abaranyare ko bakuburia ebirogo byoborayi
nyina gatekere nyero kayaso kire ekemero kayaso kire ko byo bambi bomwatesi nande ichemunyete njomete gatise itabo muramaro lakini mama ago tohiga abantu bako bifresh na ibare tanimo abana mama itimo kono no kwa elia ndokando
iseke kamuranje wasome babeke school some bago itwa nesengencho okonyoranga tasometi gosaga ikagatia gatama kagenda somumura akaenda korosie nyumba shiga tichitarabo ochaka koba mama na ndoro umwana mubeke asome aliara sikwa mwana utasome tarigo sikwa
Director yo Purity Kirera liganyara ko bakorokia iganga yaye yo kuburia obochumbe we constituency ya Bonchari hasanire ko bagakwenekeria abamenyi nganachi ko bagawikirania chira chamagendero ngati yabo gosira chisemi naboigo abantu bali abamenye kurwa ase chinga chiria chitariko bachikwenyara
chena tebana kwana mapema nonde kirokia obochumbe 2027 and the reason as to why nkorane keroge kega igontaite gokorera abanchari egasi gakingo basaba monge libaga bakorere egasi ndakoreti moko ngaka isiko
kuripotera kataseni Ndizi TV kure wadi ya bugia kumiye gotoka me constituency ya Bonchari county ya Kisii literana Josephat amese
wono korobogia kumubonchali moncho molgeria ikasama gache ye bunge Nairobi sivana sesora gutuigoro moncho molgeria kumanyara kumulikira igoro yengane rengete kumwaka isiko mukonyu murebe serigati gashagwa ibono ya kuchikura sobonga semargoba yabono kolengana na sevana soro mubungo uli South Mugrango kwana kurasama gache ye bunge nigaroka na kumochia omukonyu bomurebe serigati gashagwa na gotebuna gerebiye konyara wakuzukura sobo korere bwaje ko bwatakana nokana mamincho na osema mincha no bokoreri go chase aba Kenya.
How would you feel
that when you eventually transit to the next world, you are dead, that your brother or the person that you choose to entrust to take care of your wife and your children's property decides to start using those property for his own personal use as members. How would you feel that? That is the question that honorable members should be making, should be answering themselves before they vote today, later today, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, the late Governor Nderitu Gachagua passed on 24th of February 2017. Between 2017, Honorable Speaker, to 2024, it is indeed true that the late Governor then, amongst Mwai Madenge and Joroge, he entrusted Mr. Rigathi, the Deputy President, as the executor of his will. But, Honorable Speaker, between 2017 and 2024, the property that, and this is, Honorable Speaker, is in the document that Mwengi Mutusa has shared, Honorable Mwengi Mutusa has shared with us and tabled in this house, that between 2017 and 2024, he's been able to alter or tamper with those companies, make himself directors in some of those companies, transfer some of those properties to himself, disinherit some of the beneficiaries, the kids of the late, and put them to himself. And then one particular case, Honorable Speaker, is the Olive Garden Realtors, Honorable Speaker, that was actually altered on 2nd of March 2022, using the position of power to his own advantage, Honorable Speaker. How can you explain that? He will then tell you, Honorable Speaker, that I bought its willing buyer, willing seller. Really? Does it mean that all your money that you've acquired, which is also questionable, the only property that you could identify is the property that is under the care or is supposed to help the family and the widows of your late brother? How wicked can we be? Then you come in full glare of camera and tell the members of the public that please let my brother rest in peace. I decided to hold this property in trust for them, when the brother, the kids, the widows, and the daughters and sons of the late are languishing in poverty and complaining.
Na chingo kio chivo igo kolengana na babunge ni go wanyarwanya rego kwane go yengana yo kumurusia Rigathi Gachagua osoro igo ni ganyara komenta buna ni gobono ensemo yenka aya Gachagua ayibona mu muromo abo habetaka gotigama gamaga yo siriguma bwaje ni gobono Gachagua betaka gonchira gati ya marieta ye ni ya mu muromo abo oyo betaka go siriguma bwaje na kwerekera ego chinga kio chibate abuna ngati ibintu biri byabeterere barobuko nyara wake kura yo ku makasiko asoko nyara kundraria omutakanwa oyo no betaka gotigana mu muromo abo Rigathi Gachagua.
I want to remind the Honorable Deputy President of the good book in the book of Proverbs chapter 15 verse 25, that the Lord will tear, that's what the Bible says, that the Lord will tear down the house of the proud, but he will establish the boundary of the widow. That is why we are here today. If there is no other reason that has brought us here, Honorable Speaker, it is to protect the family that is being disinherited of their property under coercion, blackmail, and threats. If there is no other reason, Honorable Speaker. And that is why, Honorable Speaker, even it's actually biblical again, in the good book, Honorable Speaker, of the book of Exodus 22:22, that do not take advantage of the widow, do not take advantage of the fatherless. If you do, and they cry to me, I will certainly hear their cry, and my anger will be aroused, and I will kill you with the sword. Today, we are using the sword today here to protect, and it is biblical, it is religious. Today, we are using the sword to impeach you, just to protect the children that are suffering, that you threatened, that you blackmailed, that you told that if you dare speak or utter a word, I am the Deputy President of Kenya, elected by issue. Finish who? We will finish you today in this floor of the House. Honorable Speaker, I mean, there is nothing more for me, Honorable Speaker, on this matter. There is nothing more than cabinalism. I mean, really, like.
Na go tigana yono mwancho muligereria ni go chinga kichuono o mugumendo pe county ya Kisumu Ruth Odinga anyaraga kuburia osanyarira kumuburia mukonyi w'umure w'ensari Rigathi Gachagua kwene kibuna ngwetigia remeremo egetambuke getarachi koigwa ose getarachi koirwa ane mono asokonyara gwa kwisiko wetrensemelia impeachment no nyebunge yanyarage ku mwaka isikaseri tukoria robono ni ganyarira kuburia nere bya Gachagua kwene kibuna gwetigia remeremo entunde ya kabiri ku mwaka isikatarachi kigwa ase bunge ye Senate.
I want to take you back to the times before independence. Jaramogi Oginga Odinga is one of the people who fought for independence. And the colonialists actually offered him to be to become the president of Kenya. He declined and left that for Jomo Kenyatta to become the president. And in 1964, Jaramogi became the first vice president of the Republic of Kenya. Exactly 2 years down the line, like the 2 years we now have with the deputy president, Jaramogi decided that due to the ideologies that he was holding, which differed from the president, he decided to step down and leave the position of vice president, not for his own good, but for the greater good of the Republic of Kenya. He actually stepped down. I would like, in my own statement, to ask the deputy president that Kenya is larger than you. Kenya is a big country that we need to protect. When now the deputy president is talking about making Kenya a company, what company are you talking about and shareholders? When Kenya is a country that we have a sovereign country in Kenya. Mr. Deputy President, I was a bit on your side, but you have hanged yourself with your own rope. Whoever informed you to go to the
na hekira iwe gagendrete nigo no mubunge okathiani Robert Mbuyi anyaraga ko mochibono gati ababunge wali banyara gwaka ekura yo komoka isiko mokonyu muri w'ensari Rigathi Gachagua kolenga no mubunge yo kathiani Robert Mbuyi ni gate birabuna okira boni gani gerebya omure w'ensiko nyara gwako isiko libagari ya Rigathi Gachagua asensemo ni gagate abuna ama mo chance anyabaraka ukani wasensemo eserekana begona nsemo yobo korgo ama gasama nganalinga tamagendro ni gabwente kumurikirwa omure w'ense kolende kariyo mokonyeje Rigathi Gachagua.
Mr. Speaker, I'm also impressed by the energy that I've seen in this house, the vigor, the passion from morning. I mean, it is a first bill, or rather it's a first motion, where this house has gone up to public participation in the constituencies. Mr. Speaker, I only wish that the energy that we are expending here to send a question to all Kenyans about one individual was being used to fight the issues that are failing us in our education, in our health sector. People here, the cost of living has gone too high. People have no jobs. Mr. Speaker, those are the things that this House should passionately deal with. But Mr. Speaker, for a whole day, and from, I don't know, even the last week or 2 weeks, to deal with one matter, Mr. Speaker, I think that we are losing direction. And it is important, Mr. Speaker, that we deal with the things that are affecting our people. Because, Mr. Speaker, if you look at the education sector, I talked about it here the other day, we don't even have classes for grade 9 going into JSS. Mr. Speaker, the funding model for university has failed. Mr. Speaker, the insurance sector, NHIF, is having a problem, Mr. Speaker. How then do we spend taxpayers' money and time to come and deal with a matter of one single individual, Mr. Speaker? Now we are told that this person, Mr. Speaker, is a tribalist. But Mr. Speaker, those comments that he made, yesterday he made it very clear. And I was shocked. I was very shocked, Mr. Speaker, yesterday, to realize that in fact Kenya Kwanza was actually a company that is limited by shares and that people negotiated shares for themselves. The mover of the motion is a member of MCCP. MCCP negotiated shares for Lower Eastern. Mr. Speaker, because we had 2 cabinet secretaries in this government. Now, Mr. Speaker, we only have 1. And I'm telling you, Mr. Speaker, actions speak louder than words. The deputy president may have said that he is a shareholder and there are issues about his community, but if you look at the appointments that are being made in Kenya, then you will realize that the person of the president himself is the one who is the biggest troublist, Mr. Speaker, because he's appointing people from his own community for every provision. Mr. Speaker, if we have to find a situation where a school has failed, you do not fire the deputy principal. You get rid of the principal. Our problem is not the deputy, it is the head.
Yes, Farah.
Thank you, Mr.
Ina mangana lingeta wa kwisiko kwa Rigathi Gachagua. You should not fire the deputy principal, you should fire the principal. Tali mangana lenkona yumo bunga ulio kadhiani Robert Mbui. Omokonyi mumure wense Rigathi Gachagua ase bunge na baka ukwana igoro ya mangana lingeta shares. Yama gayoka tabuna ya Kenya Nigeria shareholder association kwana chaya sama tukamaiga. Gachagua nigawe kaso bwasi olibu na chenga gichecho kambeni chiabo herera amono mure wense William Samoei Ruto. Iguba begetenso ko igwana ni seibuna gatije byama aambi tukanyora ebirugo gete asense ya serikali ando Gachagua atewakereta gatebuna enseye wa serikali ya Kenya Kwanza nigekora wana shares igabe kabuna igoba igwana tekiama kya ANC igoba bana bali kuchikoye gwekerekigyo o prime cabinet secretary kabona musali mudabada bataka kawegwa waigona beka asobwa ngune byama byonse bya system ya Kenya Kwanza mbai wana netebirugo baguchikoyegwa ekiama kaligya Ford Kenya ikimono gekora wa na MOSE za masika wetangora mbai wana tebuna bakoiroborai Ford Kenya nere kuchikoyegwa ekerugo kyobono galioso obo speaker ase bunge gati mabinde binge Gachagua ni gati abune okuno koigwana babegete ase birugo bya serikali bana baguchikopagana baise koiroborai una Kenya Kwanza ngata bakerete era abagati abune nseye nigere ya shares.
By virtue of provisions of the third schedule of the Political Parties Act, the constituent parties of the Kenya Kwanza coalition entered into various agreements which were deposited with the Speaker of the National Assembly and the Speaker of the Senate for purposes of Article 108 of the Constitution of Kenya. The following were members: UDA, ANC, Ford Kenya, PA, Farmers Party, Chama cha Kazi, Communist Party, Economic Freedom Party, Service Party, Tujibebe wa Kenya Party, Moja na Maendeleo Party of Kenya, and the Democratic Party of Kenya. In accordance with the provision of Clause 3, Schedule 3, a power sharing agreement and development agenda for the certain regions of Kenya, I attach copies of these agreements, RG 32. All those agreements talked about specific regions. The leaders who appended their signatures canvassed issues of appointments to do with specific regions. Power sharing agreement between UDA and ANC and Ford Kenya, for example, say that the UDA would nominate the coalition president, the presidential and deputy presidential candidates that was honored. The president would guarantee the stature, the dignity, and financial and operational autonomy of the office of the deputy president, which I have been insisting on because it's part of the coalition agreement. The ANC would be allocated the position of the prime cabinet secretary, which has happened. Ford Kenya would be allocated the position of the Speaker of the National Assembly, and that is why Honorable Masika Wetangula sits here today. In accordance with Article 2 of the Power Sharing Agreement, ANC and Ford Kenya would have a 30% share is a word, of the national government positions. This drives my utterances about shareholding. It is embedded in all these agreements that are attached here for you to read. I heard this morning an honorable member saying that the deputy president said the people of Ukabani will not get resources because they did not vote for Kenya Kwanza government. That is not true. The deputy president of the Republic of Kenya does not allocate resources. Resources for the development of the Republic of Kenya are appropriated by the National Assembly.
Mwanchumo ligeli bono goikira bunganchire nyakiro musumali mangana magia senchira yo asemargo bayabono lisukeliga liya Jumaine sarikisane sato mutinyo komimya mona sawa chara gotengera Ndizi TV obwanso ubumugusi asari tukuri yabereli tambe anemono asamangana lengeto ku mwaka isiko mokonyo umure wenserikati Gachagua aso konyuliani go bono ababunge chimibere 53 no yo motu 181 banyara gwetia owakusiko kwa Rigathi Gachagua ekureta kone yemo asebono ababunge 44 banyara gwaka chikura tabase gwakusiko kura sobo kariwe mukonyi bumure Vincent asabone bunge nigo yatugutirare na ndi nigo ya mukristo Rigathi Gachagua ntunde guchikobwatia ni bunge ya Senate ikinagetigarete bono gose nenyare kumwegerera gose nigo chikomwaka isiko ntunde ya mwario ekigambiro aise kutamucha sekigambiro na konyara kobeka engane iyo sekigambiro nekigambiro ntoigwe nkwana yaye kulinda se bungero igawa bunge chimibere emeronge tani tatono yo moto 121 wanyara wake kura yo kumwaka isiko Rigathi Gachagua na bono ase bungero igawa mwakere isiko Rigathi Gachagua nara yose margoba ya bono toro burgrubu yo asemero belie yonsi ensemero ya Facebook Ndizi TV News digital ensemero ya YouTube Ndizi TV News na bagose website una utambe www.ndizitv.net onyara gotobwate CHINSA mirongo benye amatuko atano na biro tomera nenga kendo tobwate ndego tera sumu no wimanyerero LYDIA MOSE sara mumanyi chibi chamu nero gotera nenje nkuruko VINCENT ONYANCHA